With Bill's patience, guidance, and knowledge, and Bill actually explains his program simply but eloquently when he meets with families. The only thing that holds children back from learning more is not expecting more from them or not giving more to them. He always says they can learn anything, and he's always felt that the sky's the limit, and that's what makes this program possible. As much as staff, parents, and students at Reed have understood what Bill's contribution to our school's reputation has been, we have become the model in the district for all of the schools of advanced studies. We have on a regular basis other schools coming to see how we do it here, and they attempt to duplicate it all over the city, and the feedback we get is it's just not the same. A few days ago, several reporters from Daily News and from the LA Times came to visit the third period AP physics class, and they were absolutely stunned with what was going on. Bill was talking about how PV equals nRT. I guess P is pressure times volume equals something. And we were all stymied looking at one another. And then he talked about CP Snow and the relationship of CP Snow to physics and how important it was to know what his contributions were. It's like William Shakespeare is to English literature. And the reporters turned to me and said, "This man is a movie. This is not just a report. This is a movie that has to be done. This man cannot be replaced." Pioneers like Bill Fitz-Gibbon go into the world with no roadmap. Often they lead us to a world much larger than we even comprehend. Bill challenges his students. He impacts on their lives when he's with them and guides them toward a future with all of his encompassing coaching. Certainly all of us at Walter Reed will feel his absence, and we will never be able to replace him. However, he has created a solid foundation on which to keep building. For every child he has taught and every parent he has spoken to, there will be a void. But for some, such as Mr. James O., the passion will be so strong that they will come back and try to emulate what they have learned from Bill. To all of those whose lives Bill has touched, welcome here today. And now will Paul Norton come up to the mic. Paul Norton.
Let me begin with saying that if I had known that Bruce was that funny, I never would have hired him. I would have stayed here 10 more years myself. But thank you very much. This is a day of mixed emotions for me personally, because a little bit of me is sad because I realize now that what once was my life is now just a memory. But most of it is really joy, because today is a celebration. It's a celebration of a vision that has become a reality. Any endeavor that is worthwhile, any endeavor that wants to be or hopes to be successful, needs a vision. It needs a person who lives that vision, sees it, and sacrifices for it. And 35 years ago, because the vision started a couple of years really before IHP started, Bill Fitz-Gibbon was that man who had that vision. And he was able to convince 3 young, relatively young, enthusiastic teachers to help make it a reality, and IHP was founded in 1970. So Bill Fitz-Gibbon, thank you for the vision that you had. Now, I said Bill Fitz-Gibbon. Most of you probably don't know who I'm talking about, because it's always been Fitz to the students and to most parents. He never was Fitz to me, he always was Bill. Driving down this morning from Yosemite National Park, I said, why did I always call him Bill and never Fitz? And I began to go through some memories, and it became very clear that Bill was exactly the name that fit the man that I had known for all those years. Because when I look at Bill, the first letter that came to mind was B, which is for brilliant. This man is definitely brilliant. Not just in his fields of math and science, chemistry, physics. He's equally knowledgeable, brilliant in the fields of history, philosophy, the fine arts. It always amazed me when we had conversations how, we could touch on anything, because certainly math and physics and chemistry was not something that I wanted to touch. Thank you, Bill, for being that informed. I was no problem either. Only one word to me typifies Bill: intense. The man is intensity personified. Whether he played bridge at lunch, ping pong, or basketball. Basketball, I remember a time in the early days when we played the 9th grade young man in a basketball game. Bill and I would take on the two best students in basketball. Seeing Bill rebound was awesome. His teeth would grit, his jaw would just tighten up, his chin would jut forward, and the arms and the elbows, especially the elbows, they just started flying all over the place. And every time I was so glad I was playing with him and not against him. And, now I know why that did not become a yearly event. I guess the 9th graders probably got word of it, and after a few years gracefully bowed out of playing against Bill Fitz-Gibbon and myself in basketball. So thanks for all the elbows, Bill. I think you added a few more years to my life. L, what else but logic? Logical. Bill approaches everything from that one basis. Everything has to depend upon reason, upon logic, whether it's a discussion of politics or even teaching logic to the students. There was never any fuzzy thinking in this man. That's an inside joke. The last letter, L, the only one that I really feel warrants some explanation here, is loyalty. Loyal. Bill has never wavered from his ideals, from his vision. I remember one trying time when the teachers were on strike many years ago. Bill and I walked the picket lines in the morning, and he didn't have any equations on his side, but we walked the picket lines. Yet, after that daily routine was over, Bill would go to a location off campus and work with the students who were involved in the AP studies, because he knew that in a few more weeks they had to take the AP, and there was no way that he would jeopardize the chances of those students not to get a 5, or in some rare cases a 4, on the APs. So we located some off-campus quarters. I think one was in Encino, and met with the students there during those trying times. So Bill was loyal not only to his students, he was loyal to the vision that he had created 35 years before that. He certainly was loyal to his colleagues. I guess we agreed most of the time. If we disagreed, I probably didn't understand it. But we had a beautiful relationship. And if you look at it, the B-I-L-L to me only adds up to one thing. And that's plain Bill. just plain Bill, and that's what he will be to me the rest of my life. And I'm sure he probably would like it that way also, just to be plain Bill. I wish him all of the success and all the rewards in his retirement that he has garnered in his career. So, Bill, enjoy the next umpteen years.
Ms. Pat Fennell has taught English with grace and elegance to now nearly a generation of IHP students. She conveys her respect and admiration for the beauty of the English language in everything that she does. She has produced astonishingly skilled writers out of students who are articulate but not yet accomplished. Ladies and gentlemen, my colleague and my friend, Pat Fennell.
Well, this morning, Fitz, Bill, you inspired me, and I dashed off a little something for you. Students who have been in my class for the past 4 or 5 years have been treated to a project called Explore LA, and one of the writing models that I always give the students is a poem called 13 Ways of Looking at a Blackbird. So this morning, with Fitz in mind, I decided that it was time for me to put pen to paper and write a tribute to Fitz. And so with apologies to Wallace Stevens, wherever you are, Wallace, here's 13 ways of looking at Fitz. 1, it's fall, and the door to room 206 is propped open. Fitz must be here. 2, inside, everything. Blinds, desks, books, even students, all are slightly off-kilter. But Fitz doesn't notice. He's teaching. 3, on a monitor in the corner, a video flickers while a talking head is frozen mid-word, while Fitz, remotely, interjects his comments on evolution. 4, Fitz sits, with scantrons scattered across his desk, with reading glasses askew atop his head, with legs crossed on his backless chair, while students clamor for their scores. 5, Fitz, how'd I do? Shh! Fitz, did I do better this time? Shush! Fitz, who had the highest score? I said shush!